This is my sister Lorelai and her husband Phil, and my nieces Brian and Leah. They decided to take a camper and drive up to see Wyoming, where I'm currently living in Cheyenne, Wyoming, the capital city, hosting a morning radio show on the Cheyenne News Talk Station.
Cheyenne might be the town to stop this lonely rolling stone.
They arrived right at the beginning of Frontier Days, which is called the daddy of them all rodeos that is, because it's where professional rodeo began and is held to this very day. So we left on the day that they brought the cattle into Frontier Park.
Tap dancers.
But we wouldn't be able to stay to see the beginning of Frontier Days. We were heading to
Fort Laramie.
Probably the bullseye of the most important places in Western history. But before we can stop by Fort Laramie, we have to stop and see the wagon ruts on the Oregon Trail.
What's weird to me too is that they were carrying almost all their stuff on this, boom, 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 boom. You know, and it was this bouncy in a lot of places, most places. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, keep going.
And that narrow, that doesn't hold a lot of stuff.
No, it doesn't.
I was thinking
No.
how many people, like, I mean, the first guy probably bumped over the top of it, and then, like, that's a lot of wearing. That's a lot of carts to wear down that far.
Yeah.
Too crazy. Yeah, because we're still allowed to walk.
Fort Laramie marked the gateway to the Rocky Mountains. From there, the immigrants were now 1/3 of the way. Now, some would give up their dreams and turn around. Some would stop within the next 100 miles or so. The fort, which was originally a trading outpost, was purchased and established to protect settlers as they headed out west. So after putting my feet in the wagon ruts of the Oregon Trail, I can honestly say I know exactly how these people feel and what they went through on their hard struggle across. Hey, Brian?
Yeah?
After you get the air conditioner on, can you give me a cold drink?
Sure.
Okay, thanks. So I know exactly how these people feel and what they went through. That's Carl, by the way, my rubber chicken and our mascot on this trip.
Brown bottle in this corner over here without the labels, these Dutch ovens over here, and then those pair of shears over there. Our ceiling and our floor are actually both also original, as is this part of the counter, so every mark and scrape you see on there is actually done by somebody in the past. As you can kind of tell, every good would have been bought by somebody different, so you would have had canned goods, and some of the more expensive items probably bought by an officer and his wife, where you would have had fancy dishes definitely bought by somebody fairly rich. The officers' wives did put on a lot of dinner parties. They did have these kind of on-the-trail dishes to use, brass and the Dutch ovens. Those would have been probably bought by pioneers, but also Native Americans who could actually come in and trade buffalo furs for those items.
There's a lot of groaning there, Phil. Now, of course, no fort would be complete without a place to throw someone in the brig. And so here upstairs is where the jailer slept and all the paperwork was done. And then downstairs, even individual cells for solitary confinement. It must have been really dark down here. From Fort Laramie, it's north up Interstate 25 to the Natural Bridge, which, because we were getting near about closing time, we had just enough time for everybody to get a good look. Splash a little water on their face. Got in from there, out the gates before they locked us in, and up to Casper, Wyoming. Casper, Wyoming, where the actor Adam West, before he was Batman, played along with the Three Stooges. The movie The Outlaws is coming.
It works! Now's your chance, Mr. Cabot! Hang your gun! Hang your gun! Let him have it, Mr. Cabot! Shoot! Shoot!
Also the hometown of former Vice President Dick Cheney.
This is Dick Cheney's senior picture, and I would guess at that time Dick was probably 17 years old. I would guess 17 or maybe 18.
Dick Cheney told me privately one time of the story of how he went up with a girlfriend on top of Casper Mountain to make out point back in their high school days. And his friends thought it would be funny to let the air out of all four of their tires while they were away from their vehicle. I asked him what happened after that, and he told me he married that woman. You never know what you're going to find when you're taking a road trip. A phone booth. I mean, who has these things anymore? No, it's dead. Doesn't work.